Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pensacola Road Course for the third race in the NRSL Hankook Tyres V8 Supercar Challenge. I'm joined by my man Vince Freeze for the third race of the season.
Here we are in sunny Pensacola, Florida. We're going to see some interesting pitch strategy. And can Dylan Young, one of our storylines, keep up that P2 and points lead streak?
Yep, and both of these Holdens on the front row. Tringali on pole, Dylan Young starting second. Rob Evans, Audra Baranowskis, row 2. Row 3, Carter Friesen, Nate Rogers. Row 4, Quinton Moore, our Armory Digital winner, and Seth Cole, who's a known road course veteran in the Digital Storm Cup Series. And in row 5 is Samet Oskin and Jesse Turner. I cannot get on his car. There we go. So that's our starting top 10. Zach Flickinger starts all the way back in 27th. There he is. So Flickinger, the points leader, coming into the race with a 2-point gap over Dylan Young. Quinton Moore, 22 points back. Donovan Cage, 28. Cage starts 22nd. And then Deanna Jones is 5th in the standings. And on the final spot is Yael Carrillo. James Ellison with a poor run. Zach Rogers, Keith Rich. I can't get on this car here for some reason. There it is. Henry Sanford. Andrew Rich, Donovan Cage near the back. A fun fact, Andrew Rich has never won a race on a road course in the Digital Storm Cup Series. I'm trying to recall if he did in Jerky Pro this past season. I don't believe he did. Or no, wait, he did. He won at Island Rally, so he has some dirt road course experience. Anyway, here's the command to fire engines.
Crank them engines.
All right, so the command has been given. On the ovals, we were running the 3X tire package, but on the road courses, the officials have decided to put these cars on the 2X package because otherwise they would have been pitting here about 3 or 4 times. Instead, they'll only theoretically have to pit once. So Vince, what do you think is the call here? Do you go 4 laps on the first run and then 5, or do you go 5 and then 4?
Right, the overcut usually works on the ovals, but I think with these things being lighter drag, I like to go 5. I think going the overcut and getting 1 lap fresher tires with the way the drag works and the aerodynamic setups, we'll see. But this is our first race on a road course with these cars, and the battle's back on because it looks like Holden seems to have stranglehold right now at this series over Ford.
Yes, indeed, as these cars will come out of the road course. They're stacking up a little bit. I was questioning for a second if somebody had a problem. It looks like everybody is fine. So they're going about 60 miles an hour here. Pace car is kind of pulling away. But we are just waiting at this point for these drivers to go green. Looking at some other people in the points. Peter Onjak 6th, Baranowska 7th, Carrillo 8th, Ellison 9th, and Zach Rogers 10th. But it's still early, and remember, with this point system, if you're not in the top 10 or you're not in the top 5, you are losing a ton of points. Here we go. Crowd is on their feet getting ready for the third race of the NRSL Hankook Tyres V8 Supercar Championship. A mouthful as always. But as we come down to the start-finish line, no caution flags on road courses. We are green for 9 laps of action. And these cars are already going to be at 200 miles an hour here into the heavy braking zone. And Tringali will lead him out of it. Rob Evans up the second. Dylan Young trying to hold off Quinton Moore for third.
wide in the back there as these guys circle through this infield section.
And Quinton Moore started 7th. He's already up to 3rd place. How about that, Vince?
That inside line on the super speedway section, something about that inside line. Get a good run there, especially with the banking. You can shift over to the right. That's how the best way to get the apex exit in.
Man, Rob Evans started on the outside in 4th, and he managed to get to the inside for that first infield corner, and he's up to 2nd place. Dylan Young has fallen down to 4th. Logan York up from 11th to 5th. Baranowski 6th. Oskin 7th. Friesen 8th. Nate Rogers 9th as he's getting challenged by Derek Hamill, who's in 10th. Hamill is at the bottom of the point standings. Looking for a good run here today, as they're already pretty strung out through the infield section. As Tringali will lead them out. Tringali with, I believe, 1 road course win in the Digital Storm Cup Series. He did that at the Denver road course. As now we'll see what kind of draft we get out of these V8 supercars on the oval section, and just how fast they're going to be going next time. Remember, they were on a restart. They were only going 62 miles an hour over here before, and they went into the infield corner at about 210. So we'll see how fast they get going, but the draft is already kicking in for Evans and others. 4 miles an hour faster in the draft is the 8 of Evans. And you're going to want to be probably in 2nd place coming to the white flag if you're in draft range. See Evan peeking the nose out. And they'll be side by side going into this heavy braking zone. All the way down from 6th gear to 2nd gear. Evans can't quite get it to stick to the left side of Tringali. He'll yield the position. That's going to allow Quinton Moore to close up from 3rd. And they are nearly 3 wide back here for, I believe that is 6th place. That's Baranowski, Oskin, and Friesen. As Hamill has made it by Nate Rogers for 9th. So Hamill looking for his first top 10 of the season.
One thing to note there, it looks like they're about 215, roughly almost 215 enter that first hard braking zone. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But like you said, with the draft effect, being in 2nd place, it should work, and I think Rob Evans might have been learning there. We'll see what happens, though, this next time around.
Logan York is up to 4th place, passing Dylan Young. Dylan Young down to 5th, so Dylan apparently with more of a qualifying cars. He's down 3 positions from the start. Baranowski's holding in 6th. Friesen up to 7th. As Vince Friese is the first man outside the top 10. Gardner 12th, Seth Cole 13th, and the man himself, Zachary Fitzwater Sr., up to 14th place.
Yeah, Fitzy's always a threat on these road courses. This is his wheelhouse. Let's see if he makes a good strategy call as we're back into the super speedway section.
And everybody is strung out, so if you don't get draft, I don't think you're going to gain anything. We'll see how much time Evans can gain back here. He was 0.3 of a second behind Tringali at the line last time by, but I think he lost time in the infield section. So we'll have to see how he's doing here. You can see the draft speed again really picking up, especially for Logan York. But Tringali about 2.5 tenths more ahead of Evans that time by. But we'll see with Evans if he keeps the draft here in the corner, if he doesn't shred it all off when he gets out of it. You see he's peeking the nose. Right there off the corner, he's peeking. And yeah, Vince, 216 for Quinton Moore there coming into the infield. Evans is going to hold in line. And now the top 4 are pretty much wrapped up in a blanket.
I think it's one of those effects. The further you are back, the wake is more streamlined. So you want to be that 4th car, but you don't have enough room to get to the front. You have to be within about 4 tenths. That's the distance. Because if Evans was 5 tenths down, I think 4 tenths is the magic number.
And man, just looking at lap times from that last lap, Tringali was leading the field, yet he was 2nd fastest on the board. The only driver faster than him was 2019 Jerky Pro Truck Series champion Logan York, who with the draft ran a lap 0.3 faster, so it looks like York has both a fast car in the draft and in the infield, which seems to be what Tringali has. The only other driver under a 221 was this man, Carter Friesen, who's running in 7th place. Derek Hamill is up to 8th place now. So, man, Hamill with a car, as Vince Friese has passed Nate Rogers for 10th. And Vince Friese is another driver down in the points, 22nd to be exact. And Vince does not have a top 10 in either start.
And today is we're about to approach that pit window. 1 lap away.
Now, we believe the pit window is actually pretty wide. I'm not sure if a 2-stop would work here at this track. But we believe these guys might pit at lap 4. They might pit at lap 5. If they pit here at lap 3, I don't think they'd make it. So we're not even going to really bother to look. But you see Evans already getting draft. And, you know, see, he gets in the 6th gear, that split second earlier, and you can just see the speed difference. And see if there was any fall off from the infield that time. Yes, there was. Already a second.
I like where he headed here, though. Look at this, 0.2 away. This is where he's going to get that massive effect. I think he pulls out this lap. He learned from the first 2 laps.
Evans will make the move again. I think he's got to have a bit of a nose on Tringali, though, going into the infield corner, or he just loses all his grip. There's more battles behind them. Here we go, side by side into the infield again, and Evans is going to hold strong right there. And not so much right there. Tringali will hold the position. That'll open the door for Quinton Moore. He's to the right side of Evans here, going up this winding uphill right-hander. And Quinton Moore is going to take 2nd place away from Rob Evans.
Quinton Moore's fastest in practice, too. He knows how to get around here.
So Evans down to 3rd. York still in 4th. As Derek Hamill has now moved up to 7th. Hamill has been on a move, and he ran a 220.5 that last time by. For the fastest time in the race. So Hamill, watch out, man. I think this guy gets pit stops. He stays in draft. He's looking like a pretty fast car. As Oskin 9th, Freeze still 10th. Seth Cola has moved up to 11th. Fitzwater still 14th. Just kind of looking through the field here. Deanna Jones has made a move on Jack for a position. That was for 17th. James Ellison, who started near the back, he's up to 20th. Andrew Rich, Keith Rich not having good days. Same for the Sanfors. As Zach Flickinger has been unable to move forward. So the points leader, Vince, we talked about, I think, one bad race, you know, messing you up.
It's fun.
As we come around here to complete lap 4, will anybody dive the pit road? The answer appears to be no. As now Tringali getting chased by Quinton Moore instead of Rob Evans. Will Quinton Moore be able to make the move for the lead here? 4/10 back at the start-finish line.
Well, I mean, 3/10 wasn't good enough, and you have to be a nose ahead, so I have to say no.
Well, Quinton Moore's already peeking the nose, and he's not even to his bumper.
He's going to lose it on the curbs right here, I have a feeling. That's what happens.
It's not really even. Tringali's just going to cut him off right there.
Or that, yeah.
So far, Tringali doing a great job holding on to this lead. Looks like Baranowskis might have been challenging Dylan Young there for a minute. And by the way, the only Ford up here, I think, is... Oh, no, Rob Evans is in a Ford. Never mind.
Campbell's up here in the 4, I know that.
So Evans is the highest Ford, and then I believe Logan York here in 4th. Now, some of these cars, it's hard to kind of see unless you're looking at the bright blue banner on the windshield. So nobody changing positions there in the top 10 that time by, or throughout the field for that matter. Oh, no, wait, one position here. Zach Rogers up to 26th over Charles Sanford, who's now got a bumper full of Yael Carrillo. But these guys have been unable to move forward at all, and I wonder if that's an effect of draft, Vince, because there's just so much draft at the back of the field.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the man I got my eye on, man. Derek Hamill. After pit stops, I'm watching this man right here. See if he can gain any more positions. He's been the one guy moving his way through the top 10.
You know, he might have burned the tires. Here goes somebody else there. I think that's the Oskin. Yep.
Oskin was looking on the wrong corner. That's a corner coming out to the super speedway section, and that's where you want to gain a ton of speed. As it looks like some drivers are indeed pitting here this time by at lap 5. And Derek Hamill is going to be the one to pit. So
well, obviously we've messed up the delta. I guess it is going to be a wider range. Interesting.
So Hamill will pit here on lap 5 to 6. And let's see what the call is. Looking like 4 tires. Nobody else came down pit road. Battle for seconds on between Moore and Evans. And it is a 4-tire pit stop for Hamill. Quinton Moore will hold on to P2. As now fight is on for 7th. And Samet Oskin will take it from Carter Friesen, and Hamill pitting moved Seth Cole into the top 10. And now he's looking for position on Vince Friese. But he can't quite keep it to the right side of that 44 machine. So just basically waiting for these guys to pit at this point.
I wonder if these guys have been saving in the draft. You don't want to be the leader, and you're kind of giving these guys a chance to save fuel, less throttle time. I wonder if we see someone try to stretch to 7 or 8. We'll see.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that it was Derek Hamill in the draft who pit first and not Nico Tringali, who's been leading this line the entire race.
I think he chewed up his tires. I noticed in that last infield section, coming about right here, he chewed up the tires. He didn't have the grip. He lost it on apex. So we'll see. Here we go. The moment of truth's coming up.
Well, I'd say one thing. If these drivers all take 4 tires, I think Hamill's going to get some good time on the undercut. The only problem for him is he doesn't have any draft because he pit by himself.
Right.
Let's see how many of these guys pit here coming to 3 to go. And Tringali will stay out again.
Staying out.
So this is very interesting. Nobody coming to pit road. Wow. Really thought these guys would have had to pit by now. So maybe Hamill going with the 4-tire stop and pitting a lap or 2 early, and these drivers might be doing fuel only.
Or 2.
Or 2 tires. Yes, Quinton Moore all over the bumper of Tringali. He's going to miss the corner. That's going to open the door for Evans. Evans gets loose. Quinton Moore will hold on, but they were side by side for 5th. Baranowskis and Dylan Young. And Dylan Young will hold on to the position. As now, Fitzwater in 13th, looking for 12th on Johnny Gardner. But he has to yield as well. These guys they've lost all their grip, Vince, and shorter way around through a corner right now is not the faster lane.
I wonder what Hamill's lap times are. Because if these guys run 222s highs and 223 lows, he might be around 220s. High 220s at minimum.
He is out there on the banking. Here he comes.
That's where he had an out lap.
Yep, so that was the out lap. Now let's look at this corner right here. 49 miles an hour there for Zach Flickinger right at the end. So we'll come back to Derek Hamill in a second or two, because he's probably losing time on the super speedway section because he doesn't have draft, but he's gaining so much with the fresh grip through these infield corners. All right, so they're coming out right here, but we should have time to see what Hamill does in this corner. So it was 49 miles an hour bottom speed for Zach Flickinger, and for Hamill it's gonna be 52.
52, 53, yeah.
Man, Tringali has really put a gap on him and Quinton Moore here. Let's see, do they have to pit at 2 to go? I think it's time. Tringali's looking. Yep, here we go. Looks like everybody's going to pit here. Oh, somebody stayed out. Who was that? That was Deanna Jones. What's the strategy call here, though? And it's looking like fuel only, Vince. Oh, man, Vince. Fuel only. Oh, and Quinton Moore and Nate Rogers get together on pit road. And Nate Rogers will have to get a tow. He did not get in the box correctly. That's going to hurt his race tremendously. And Quinton Moore lost a ton of positions trying to get back going. But Tringali comes out the leader. Where's the 17? There he is. And Hamill's back down to about the mid-15s. But we'll see what that corner grip does for him, Vince.
He's going to come up
right up on Jesse Turner right there. But the big thing they'll see here is if he can get back to 7th with those tires. But what I want to know is, can Deanna Jones make it?
Not mistaken, Deanna Jones pulled a similar strategy at Michigan. Either went long or went under. I can't remember exactly. So this team has been notorious for making these strategy calls.
Yeah, so this is the big question here, because was Deanna Jones smart and saved all this gas in the draft? If she doesn't pit, that'll be something. We really thought that these cars would have had to pit around lap 5, but we were mistaken.
Yeah, we've been snookered if that happens.
But what an interesting, like, you know, the officials, this might even be a genius call here, because now you got people pitting right at the end of the race. That makes things really tense. So will Deanna Jones have to come down to pit road for a splash? Because remember, this track is 5.3 miles long. And she will. So Deanna Jones will be pitting here. Nico Tringali leads. Can Evans or Logan York get anything in draft? As there's Derek Hamill. He's made it by, and he's in this wake. I'm not sure how many positions he'll get, though. Deanna Jones is out and away, but I think Tringali is going to cycle back as the leader. And Evans is not in draft range.
This might be all she wrote.
So Tringali starting from the pole. Oh, Evans is getting a little bit, but I don't think he's close. Logan York has nothing. Baranowska side by side with Dylan Young for 5th. She's finally going to take that position. She's been working on it all race. So right there for 5th place goes Baranowskis. Dylan Young's going to look right back. Not quite going to get there. As Deanna Jones will come out of pit road in 11th. So Hamill back up to 10th. But does he have anything for these guys in the infield section? Definitely looks like he does.
Those tires are helping. There it is.
Look at that move. That is for 9th place on Seth Cole. Now, he was 7th before he pit. So if he can get back to 7th or get anything more than 7th, this is a huge move. Look at this. I mean, those are 3-lap-old 4 sets of tires to 9-lap-old sets of tires, Vince.
Yeah, I think the infield sections where these guys are paying the price for Hamill, though. He's loving every second of this. But back up front, Tringali, domination.
I want to see how many more spots Hamill might get here. He's up to 9th. Or 8th, rather, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so Hamill's up to 8th. If he can get back by Friesen, he'll be where he was before he pit. Oh, he's going to go for the outside move. Look at this.
Yeah, a little too far out there, but he might get it. Oh, wow.
Wow, he got it done. Friesen took a very narrow angle, and that's going to open the door for Quinton Moore, but now they're on the super speedway section. But back at the front of the field, he got the pole, and he pretty much led all but one lap. It'll be Nico Tringali winning the 3rd race in the V8 Supercar Challenge. And Hamill is going to come home in 7th place. So his strategy worked out a little bit, Vince, but I think maybe if he had pit a lap earlier, it might have worked a little better. I'm not sure. Because he also didn't have draft, so we got to think about that.
That was definitely interesting.
Rob Evans 2nd. Logan York 3rd. Ranoskis 4th. Dylan Young 5th. Austin, Hamill, Friesen, Moore, Seth Cole, your top 10. I believe this will make Dylan Young the points leader after today, as Zach Flickinger finishes in 25th. Of course, with the pit road issue, Nate Rogers 29th. Well, that is all she wrote for us here today. Deanna Jones gets 11th, by the way, pitting there at the end, coming to the white flag. Next time we head to the Charlotte Roval. It's a track I've never been to for offline, so I'm hoping for a good race. Fingers crossed. Anyway, me and Vince will see you for that one. So until then, peace out.
For sure.